We're outside the paddock right now with a young rising star driver, Montrell Teague. Thank you so much for taking the time for doing an interview tonight.
No problem.
So it's stake season. You're making a name for yourself though early. You've been driving for what, like 2 years now, but I can imagine with a last name like Teague, you grew up in the business, right?
Yeah, had it my whole life, so it's always a great thing to have that last name because I get a lot of good horses to drive from my dad, and I've been very successful so far.
I can imagine that you've learned a lot from your father. Any particular words of wisdom that you learned from an early age about the sport?
He's taught me throughout my life and still teaching me now, but he just reminds me every time, like, keep my head on straight and just if you want to be successful, you got to work for it.
So can you take us back to when you first started getting involved in the business? How old were you when you first started jogging horses?
I was about 5 to 7 years old. I can't really remember, but I just remember jogging out there with my dad, and he hopped off the bike, and he was like, "It's all yours." Was there
ever any doubt for you that this is what your path would be?
Not at all. Horse has been my life my whole life, and I was never interested in anything more than this.
Now, did you ever help train?
Yeah, every day at the barn, I always wanted to train, and I guess that made me more common with the horse and know what I'm doing out on the track.
Where's home for you?
Harrington, Delaware.
So what tracks have you been racing at this season?
Mainly Harrington, and then Chester, and then a little bit of Poconos and Meadows and everywhere.
So you've had a couple of big wins, but do you remember your first win ever as a driver?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be hard to forget that. It was right at Harrington, my hometown. Okay. Not one of my dad's horses, actually.
No.
It was actually on Me.
Okay.
So that was a great moment.
Love that name. Custard the Dragon. That is a horse that your father trains. Tell us about this one. Won the Hemptier big race, also won the Hoosier Cup. So tell us about this this horse.
He's an amazing horse. He's made my driving career extremely great, and I couldn't ask for a better horse to drive right now.
Does your father give you any advice when you're going out there when it's one of his horses? What's that conversation like heading into a race?
He just sometimes he'll go over the program with me and tell me which horses to look out for and which ones would be good in the race, and just mainly he just gives me the lines and let me do my own thing out there.
Is there any ever added pressure when working with family?
Not really. It's actually a little bit less pressure because if you get on a catch drive, then you always want to please that person a little bit more because you can get that horse again next week. But Dad, he doesn't get on me too much, so he's always happy.
That's good. When you were starting out, any other drivers in the business kind of give you any coaching or advice?
Down the line, is every single driver has.
Right.
Just about more Georgie Knapp and Yannick, Tim Tetrick, just the greater drivers out there.
What was it like developing your own driving style? I mean, getting some advice, but really getting out there yourself and doing it.
Every race, you just learn from it, and you just go on from that. But you look at other people's style and see what works for them, and try to put it into your own.
What about goals for you? This year was a big year. There any major races you want to compete in, end up in the winner's circle?
All the major races. That'd be great. Yeah. But going to the Little Brown Jug, that would be pretty good because that's the only one my dad hasn't won yet. I think that's the main one he hasn't won yet.
Maybe you guys can do it together there. Colors. You're third-generation horseman, so are these family colors for you? How did you come up with them?
I have no idea. I mean, I just looked at Dad's colors, and that's what I wanted. And it's been in our family 3 generations. I don't think I would change it.
So, Montrell, you're 20 years old. Any advice or anything you wish you knew when you were first starting out? If there was a guy out there or a young girl thinking of becoming a driver, thinking of becoming a trainer, what do you have to share with them?
If this is really what you want to do, then just work for it, and one day, hopefully, it'll come for you.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to follow your career. Very promising. Right now, I'm going to find out some things about you that don't have anything to do with harness racing, so I hope you're prepared.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're making those split-second decisions out there on the track, so I think you're pretty good thinking on your feet. Favorite sports team?
Definitely Philadelphia Eagles. I love football.
Philadelphia Eagles. And did you ever play mini football? What position were you?
I was actually a linebacker for as small as I was, but that was when I was really young.
Okay, what about your favorite food?
I love food.
Do you have a favorite meal that your mom makes or out at a restaurant?
Mom wasn't actually a good cook, but...
Oh, no, we need to cut that out.
I like pasta. I like seafood pasta or lobster, sushi.
Do you go for pizza?
Oh, I love pizza.
What's your favorite topping?
Pepperoni pineapple.
Pepperoni and pineapple. I've heard of pepperoni and ham before, but I have to try this pepperoni and pineapple.
You'll like it.
Ooh, what about a superpower? If you were to be a superhero, what kind of power would you like to have?
I think it'd be pretty cool to fly.
Yeah.
So you can fly from track to track instead of driving.
That would be incredibly useful for someone like yourself who's traveling around. What about hobbies outside of harness racing? Anything else that you do in your spare time?
Not really. My life revolves around horse racing, so.
I get that answer a lot from a lot of horsemen. Very dedicated. So if you were to win the lottery tomorrow, after you cash the ticket, how would you spend the money? What's the first thing that you do?
I gotta go on vacation and celebrate.
Where are you going on vacation? What would be your dream destination?
I always want to go to Hawaii. I hear it's expensive there, so I have a lot of money to spend.
Yeah, now you got money to burn. I think I know the answer to this. I'm not quite sure, but any idols, any mentors, and people you look up to in business?
John Campbell. He's won a lot, so he's the main one that comes to mind.
Well, I think you're on the right track to doing just as well, Montrell Teague. Thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck throughout the rest of the year, and hopefully we can catch up with you again sometime soon.
No problem. Thank you.